What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel and welcome back to another playstyle breakdown. Today we are going over possession, which is the most interesting of the playstyles in eFootball, and it is because there are so many mixed feelings where some players swear by it and say it's the best way to get the most out of eFootball, right? If you truly want to play football, and others can't stand it because it is the total opposite of the meta. Now, as usual, you're going to want to read what the game has to say about the playstyle, but for me, I'm going to break down exactly how it translates in the game, starting with the fact that defensively, it is a high line, the highest line actually of all the playstyles, and it is pressure defense. So me personally, I like that, right? Your players aren't going to drop back at all. The minute you lose the ball, they're going to be pressing and trying to win it back. Now, after you win the ball back or when you have the ball, that's where it gets interesting. In possession, your players will converge towards the ball and look to provide short passing options. So if you're somebody that wants to emulate TIKI style of play, this would be the perfect play style for you. The tough part is when an opponent is pressing, you have all these players in short, close proximity to each other. Players can essentially rush with one or two players and a lot of times win the ball back. So you're going to have to be ahead of the game as far as knowing where you want to pass the ball, and you're going to have to be thinking fast because your players are so close together. So as the ball's coming, you immediately have to know the next passing option, the next passing option, the next passing option, all while the defense is pressing you with this OP style of defense that, Konami's implemented. That's where the play style, I think many players, can drive them crazy, including myself, is that you feel like even though you see all these different options, you see where it could be a great play style, it is very, very hard to master in an opponent who's essentially playing quick counter or any type of pressing defense is going to many times be able to win the ball back easily from you if you aren't very good at quick passing and making decisions quickly. And then on top of that, if you want your players to make runs forward, you're going to have to manually trigger those runs many times. Not all the time, but many times with L1 or R1 if you want them to go, across. But you will have to manually trigger the runs to get going forward, right? Because it's highly unlikely that you're just going to be able to short pass the ball all the way up the field. Now, I did find that sometimes players will make runs on their own, but it's not nearly as much as the other playstyles. That's just another thing that you're going to have to get used to. This is the setup that I use. Now, I will say the meta for possession is more midfielders, less forwards. So, for instance, Pirlo's an orchestrator. If I had maybe instead of Cruyff, I had another orchestrator, and then instead of Messi or Villa, I had box to box. That's like the meta, and that's because you want to work the ball up through the midfield and then eventually get your striker the ball to either lay off for a finish to one of your midfielders or turn and shoot himself. On top of that, I also didn't go with the typical meta for possession with having a destroyer out there. I have a Rojo. They say you should have only build-up center backs, and I have an attacking wingback in Zanetti where they say you should have defensive wingbacks. However, this is how possession worked best for me because I'm looking to get the ball, play those short passes, get it up into the feet of Kohler, who is a target man and works good with his back to goal. However, again, the meta for possession says you should have like a deep lying forward, which I have plenty. Cruyff himself's a deep lying forward. I just found for how I play that target man works perfect because then he can lay it off to either Cruyff, Villa, or Messi, and then you play essentially up, back, and throughs from there, manually triggering runs and getting in on goal. Now, this highlight here is on legend mode in an event just recently, and you see the way I like to play possession work perfectly, right? It doesn't always come out this clean, but this is literally the goal. Exactly how I see playing possession working for me every time. These short, quick passes makes it tough for the opponent to know exactly where you're going to play the ball, right? There's so many different options. You just have to be thinking quickly and make those right decisions, make the right passes while the opponent is pressing you. And the truth is they're going to be pressing you a lot harder than the AI does, even on legend mode. But truthfully, if you can master this and still make successful passes with that pressure, then possession can easily be the best playstyle in eFootball, and you can absolutely dominate with it. So essentially, if you're somebody that likes a high pressing type of defense and you like keeping the ball and making short tiki-taka type passes, or at least working out of a possession-based tactical setup, then possession is absolutely worth working at. You will probably want to utilize it in like events like I'm doing here in practice first, because it's tough to get, but once you do, it can be rewarding. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you use possession. Keep grinding, keep having fun, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.